FX presents the Indu Podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Adubians. Sorry, I had to do that because every time I do it, it kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Like, you don't have to explain that to me.
I know, but I felt like I had to explain, like, why am I suddenly like I'm a tape that's just been revved up and then, or warped rather. But I go back and I listen to the recording, and all of a sudden I just like cut out. So I'm like, oh no, I think Zoom thinks that this is some noise and it just blocks it out.
Wow.
So
has it always been a problem? I've never heard you talk about it.
It has been as long as we've been using Zoom, which has been like maybe like a year or so, if not longer. So,
so which version are you gonna keep? Are you gonna keep the wonky version, or are you gonna?
I feel like I'm gonna have to do it again. So I'm going to. It's gonna sound crazy, but we're just gonna go with it. And
okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Good morning, Indubians. Wow, I did not like that at all.
I mean, the first go was a little bit better. I like that one.
Okay.
Better, to be quite honest.
All right. I'll try that. Good morning, Indubians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Courtney.
This is the Indu Podcast on a Warped Tour drive, apparently.
Hey.
Where the morning drive time meets late night talk. What?
So, okay, no, that's good, because so when we get to our space segment, it's gonna make so much sense. Like, you're gonna connect. We're gonna be able to segue and connect the dots. So
you're so excited, like your words, like your thoughts are coming out faster than your words are.
Yes.
Anyway, we aim to entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. And there's a lot of that so far already today.
Nonsense.
Oh, wow. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. We're recording live from the south side of Little New Induia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive. Yes. Courtney, how are you doing? Sounds like you're great. How are you, though?
All right. Pretty all right. How are you?
I'm great, as I have how should I put it? Resided on this rock we call Earth for 36 years now, and a couple days. I've been celebrating and actually having, like, I feel like this is one of the better birthdays I've had in recent times that I can recall. Because I mean, we've had some dumpster fire years, but me being the optimist that I am, I can't help but think back on like all the good things that happened, especially in 2021, because I have a whole wife now. So there's that.
Yeah.
And
that's a big thing.
It's a huge thing. Yeah. And she actually was a big part of like the birthday being great, because she brought or bought me like clothes. So I have like some new duds, because she's like, yeah, your hoodies are tired. I'm like, oh.
Gotta love a good woman who speaks the truth and also shows you the light.
She's right. I do have some tired hoodies, but then I also have my regulars, which I feel like are still good. Like, I know they're worn down if they're what I have printed on the back might be kind of, withering away, but some of them are still like really good. So like they're not withered at all. There's no like tattered or peeling of what's printed back there.
Well, here's the thing. I'm still getting to know Ashley and her way of doing things, and just getting to know her as a person still. But I feel like when a woman says something is tired, not only is it like, sure, maybe physically like run down or whatever, but it's also code speak for I'm sick of seeing you in it all the time. So you may want to just kind of look in the mirror, literally and metaphorically, because she may just be trying to say, hey, I want to see you in something else, and then buys the thing that she wants to see you in.
Right.
And, that's where I feel like she's coming from.
Yeah.
Partially, maybe.
Yeah. And with that, we watched the show. I mean, it's an old show, but I like watching the reruns because that's all we have left. The show called Happy Endings. You can watch it on
Mhm.
Hulu. It's hilarious. I love it. And there's this one character who wears V-neck t-shirts all the time. So there was a
Mhm.
whole episode where they tried to do an intervention because he like always had V-necks on all the time. So
Mhm.
I think because of that, like she found one in the store and bought one for me. So
Mhm.
that's kind of like somewhat of a joke in a sense, but I mean, it's not bad. I don't have a problem with V-necks or have a lot of them. I think this is like my second one now. So,
Mhm.
there's that and a couple new hoodies that are nice and they're
Sure.
warm.
Sure.
Um, but I mean, I still have again the ones that are still. I'll call them fresh. They're not tired. The tired ones,
Okay.
I definitely know they're tired because like the sleeves are all kind of loose and kind of baggy and you know how you have that like elastic in the sleeve ends.
Uh huh. Uh
Those are
huh.
really really loose.
Yeah.
So that one that can be retired. Like it
Mhm.
used to be black. Now it's like a dull black, if that makes any sense.
A tired black, if
A
you
tired
will.
black, yeah. Like many Black Americans in America today. It's a tired
Nice.
black.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
So yeah, my hoodies, some of my hoodies are Black Americans in 2022. So they're just tired. Like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's probably how they feel when I put it on. Like, really, we're going out again?
One
Okay.
more time. Like we're doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I thought the last time you took me off, that was going to be the last time, and you
Right.
can just, oh, all
But
right,
here we
here we
are.
go.
Yeah.
Here we
Uh-huh.
go.
Here we go again.
Keeping
Oh,
keeping you
here we
warm.
go again. Who says that?
Mm-hmm.
Keenan and Kel, I think. No,
Oh, yep.
Kel.
Yeah. Or
I'm
was it
Keenan and
Keenan?
Kel.
Oh, wait, no,
No, it was Kel.
it was Cal. Okay.
I think.
You know what? It might be on what, Paramount Plus. I might have to go check it out just
Yeah.
for memory's sake.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. But yeah, great birthday. I had a snow day, so I really didn't have to go anywhere, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of I was gonna say a lot of food was had. Like I cooked food and made a breakfast, which I showed you pictures of. And
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, because that was Saturday, my birthday was Saturday. Sunday, I basically had a joint birthday party with a 7-year-old. So already you're like, how much fun could that be? And it actually was, because we went to Dave and Buster's.
Nice. That place is awesome.
It is. I haven't been in like a many years. Like, and this is, I guess, now my second time ever going. So, and just in case there is one listener out there who has never experienced Dave and Buster's, it's basically Chuck E. Cheese for adults. So,
and it's amazing.
It is. In fact, it is much better than Chuck E. Cheese. I think even children would agree, because there's like real games. Okay, I'm not saying Chuck E. Cheese doesn't have real games. The last time I've been to one, I think, was just before the pandemic started. And even then, they were just barely hanging on. Like,
yeah,
you saw that rat costume in the corner, and it was like shoved that eyeball right back in place. And
right.
Yeah. That was tired. That was a tired, like, rat, basically. Like, whew. I don't know if any exist anymore, but yeah. Anyway, Dave and Buster's was great. They do? Oh,
they do. And I think they are really pretty cheap now, because well, and I don't know if they've always been cheap, but because I've not been as an adult human, but for a while they were, for a while that I knew of them, like my nephews and things would go. I mean, you can go for a $10 ticket and be in there for not a long time, but $10 would buy you a good amount of tokens to play the game. And if you want to eat pizza in there or whatever, it's a little extra money, but it wasn't super expensive.
It did the job. It was satisfactory.
It did the job. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to level up, then you go to Dave and Buster's, because you got your games, which I found very interesting. They have a lot of games there that are like bigger versions of what you might play on your phone. So, which I thought was pretty awesome, because I mean, that's the first time I played like a full-size Fruit Ninja game. Yeah,
you're right. And that's one of the more popular games there.
Exactly.
And then I know there's Connect 4. There's normally one at my Dave and Buster's that I just love, because I love Connect 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Noted.
They do. Yeah.
just to, I was going to say I'll challenge you to a game, but you probably already know all the tricks into beating people. So
I
maybe
mean,
not.
I don't. I'm not.
Ooh.
I didn't say I was good at it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll
But
put it back on the
yeah,
board. All right.
yeah, put it back out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I've been thinking about it since I left, and I'm like, you know what? This would make a pretty good, like, if I could like wrangle together a group, or say maybe that is the time that you do come to Connecticut when it's still wintertime, and like we have to go
Mm.
somewhere to hang
Mhm.
out because you don't want to be outside because apparently it's
It's
cold.
freaking cold.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which
Y'all
I
have
mean,
like real cold up there.
I didn't write it in my notes, but I'm tired of how often now I'm seeing the term. Oh man, now I'm gonna screw it up because I either say it backwards. I think it's cyclone bomb.
Hmm.
And I think we talked about it in a previous episode because I think I even came back. So I was like, wait,
Yeah, I remember talking about it. I do not remember which is the correct. Like
it's
if it's
bomb cyclone. Bomb
Okay.
cyclone. Yeah.
Okay.
It's and again, that is when the temperature suddenly drops like within 24 hours, and I think it's like 20 degrees dropping, or it just gets very, very cold very, very fast.
Hmm.
Where it's almost like, what is this a new term, or is this something that always happened but we're just now talking about it? Because it's weird how it just keeps coming up so often. Like the last time it was mentioned was yesterday. I didn't even say where this report is from, but yesterday and 6 hours ago, and basically it just happens during wintertime. But the thing I'm waiting to hear again is the polar vortex. I haven't heard that term in a couple of years, and that was devastating when that happened.
Yeah.
But what have you? I don't know. All that to
Well,
say,
go ahead.
all that to say, we had to brave the cold to go out to Dave and Buster's, but we had a good time when we were out there, so it was all good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I mean, we're getting ready to have a bit of weather here. Like, okay, so currently it is, let's see, 70, 64, but the high was something like 68, 69. So that's insane. No, it's not a good thing though, because that's, if it was later in the year, like March, hey, I mean, we can actually have tornadoes now, but typically in tornado season, if it's that warm, pretty, that is unseasonably warm for us. And so we're actually getting ready to have a bit of a winter storm, where it's raining now and it's supposed to continue to rain and the temperature is supposed to continue to drop. And so we don't really get snow, not snow like y'all. We get ice. And so with the temperatures so high, and even with them getting ready to plummet the way that they're about to, we're kind of, there's a winter weather like advisory that this is probably going to happen. You're probably going to have issues traveling in ice and yada yada. And ice is not fun because you can't drive in it, but it also messes with like power lines and things. So
correct.
It's
not fun at all. In fact, it is worse than like snow and I would even say blizzards, because I mean, you're not supposed to be driving anyway during a blizzard. Then again, you're not supposed to be driving during an ice storm either. But with the ice storm, it is more dangerous because, say, for example, you still have trees that have like leaves on them. Granted, it is January, or no, I'm sorry, it's February. So we don't have any leaves.
Life.
Yeah, I'm trying to get together. Like, time is COVID. Anyway, with some storms, normally for us in New England, with those ice storms, they are devastating because of the trees, and they kind of fall on the power lines, and then the power lines are also frozen and they'll snap or get heavy. And then, although it's beautiful, if you don't have anywhere to go or you don't need any power, it's like, wow, look, everything is encased in ice. That is just beautiful, just sparkling, but it's deadly too. So, but I will say, please be safe, because that storm will be coming this way by the end of the week. So yay, more snow, because that's also what we had to battle with.
Yeah.
But we're also supposed to get warm weather too, so it's
weird.
But climate change isn't a thing. It's not real, supposedly.
Not even a little bit,
I know.
This is all normal.
All normal. This happens. Last night, my niece took me out to 99 Restaurant, which I had to get the name right because, like bomb cyclone. I keep reversing it, and I'm like, is it restaurants 99 or is it 99 restaurants? But it's 99 restaurant singular, which is just weird. I don't even know why it's called that.
It's disheartening a little bit. Or disheartening is not the word. Disconcerting is maybe what I'm thinking of. Because I'm like, I don't understand. When I read it, I'm like, surely this is a typo. Should it be 99 restaurants?
Oh, when I texted
like,
you earlier?
Or, yeah. Or like you said, restaurant 99. But
restaurant 99
restaurant
sounds better.
Yeah, it does. And I've heard of different establishments where it's like the thing or the number. No, the thing and then the number. Like Club 42 or whatever.
Or so Butterfield 8, which is also a movie, but still.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't understand the whole 99 restaurant singular. I have so many questions.
I do too. We'll have to circle back to it because there's like so much that we have to talk about today, and that's not one of them. However, I do need to talk about the sirloin tips because that's really my only reason for going there these days, which isn't often.
Please do. Yeah.
But it's often enough. And again, we were texting earlier about this and how it is one of my side missions in life, because as we all, are in this, we're all in the matrix. We all have our side missions as we, acquire the bigger goals. One of mine is to figure out how the blue cheese is made at my favorite wingery, but also how or what their sirloin tips are seasoned with. And I'm thinking maybe it's a marinade. And I had my last few bites today, like as I was driving home, because I didn't finish it at the restaurant. So I took it home. Plus I cooked it in the air fryer a little bit longer because it was a little too rare for my liking. And I had some for lunch. And then I had the rest as I was driving home, just sitting there trying to chew and really savor. I'm like, what is this flavor that I am tasting? And I felt like I was getting closer, like it was right there. And I'm like, I don't know. So I'm thinking I might have to just outsource this and try to reach out to like any chef friends out there or anybody. Like, I feel like, and I really want to make a request. I'll send a tweet out, see if I get an answer to someone like Kitchenista to see if she ever goes to a restaurant and she tastes something like, ooh, that tastes great, I can recreate that. And maybe she's tried this before. Maybe she knows what it is. Maybe if she hasn't, I'm willing to send her the money just to go get like the plate so she can taste it for herself and then tell me what the secret is. Yes. Because I need to know what this is, because I can easily make the sirloin tips because they're already very tender, very delicious. I can put my own seasoning in it, make it good, but I want it to taste like that. That's what I need. So can you
when you eat the meat, right? So like I'm thinking of that one scene in The Matrix where what's his name wants to be reinstated into the Matrix and he's eating the meat. And I can't recall if he actually tastes or like if he describes the meat, but just looking at him eat the meat, take a bite out of the steak and it's like medium rare because it's got a little pink in the middle, and the way that he just enjoys it, I feel like I know exactly that feeling. I know exactly what it tastes like when you take a bite into that steak. Can you like see the flavors like happen in like do they come to life like that rat in Ratatouille? He starts to describe the taste and he sees it in color and it's beautiful.
In a way, it's like that. I see things in layers sometimes when I eat them because I can, or even in time, because as you taste things, like you can taste different things as time goes on, similar to let's say Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or maybe it's Charlie, whatever, where the little girl, Violet Beauregard, is that her name? Where she has the gum,
something like that. Yeah.
And then as she keeps chewing, she keeps tasting different things.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, that's what it's like sometimes. And I'm tasting things and I can kind of separate them. And I also do this with music too, by the way, where I kind of separate, I can hear instruments and like who's singing what or what's being played. So in the same way, I can differentiate like, okay, this is the meat that I'm tasting because I know what like this specific type of sirloin beef or steak tastes like. I can taste little bits of pepper. like just black pepper.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm kind of thinking is like, okay, this must be a marinade because there's a lot of flavor going on and it's mostly coated around the meat itself. So if I was
Mhm.
able to, and the pieces of meat are already kind of small as it is, so it's not like I'm like shaving off like the crust because it's kind of almost like a crust. But
Mhm.
if I could do that, then yeah, I can kind of get a little more analysis of what that is. But there's a
Right.
lot going on in the flavor, and it's a flavor that impacts my whole mouth. So maybe there's a little
Okay.
umami that goes on in there too, which I
Okay. Yeah.
so it's just a lot. It's very savory.
Mm.
It's just a hint of
Now I'm
spiciness.
so hungry. Thank you. You've done it.
I I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing because
I
if
know.
anything, this will encourage our dear listeners to go out. And this is not a paid ad, but hopefully 99 Restaurant will also pick this up and be like, hey, they're really talking a lot about this thing here. Let's, give him some more. Maybe he can figure it out. But maybe you, dear listener, you can figure it out. You can tell me what it is. And I don't know, I'll start experimenting. And maybe that'll influence me to go to Patreon and actually start making things and showing you how I make things because I have my own seasonings that I like to make. And a lot of them I tried to make them without salt because being a little bit health conscious out there, and especially those with like high blood pressure and what have you. And I like to control the salt. And I can
Mhm.
say this confidently, it does not taste salty. Like the sirloin tips, they don't have that saltiness. I'm sure there's salt involved, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's a mystery. And I know 99 Restaurant isn't going to tell us because I think it even says it in their description, like our secret blend of whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the catch. They're not gonna willingly tell you
Mm-mm.
because that's how they keep you coming to their restaurant and paying money.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's a good business
It
approach,
is.
but it kind of stinks when it would be great to like try to recreate it for your own food.
Because, I
Not to
mean,
take business from them, but to,
no,
experiment and things.
they will still get my business. I will still go there because I'm not going to always want to cook it because I'm like, I'd rather just have them make it because they'll do it right and it's consistent. Where I might, add too much or add too little, and with them it'll just be perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
they just go over there and get theirs. So, and I mean, I also get the mashed potatoes, which I really love. The broccoli, which I mean, you can't mess with broccoli. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just all three of those things blended together. It's great. It's a lovely meal. And I mean, you even get a side of like popcorn just to snack on. I never do, but it's there. So you can have that. So this episode is brought to you by 99 Restaurant singular. Go
Just one, just 1.99,
right, just
one ninety
199.
ninth,
What?
199th the restaurant.
199. I have to do like the commercial where for whatever reason that guy kept pronouncing 99, like just really stressing that T. So
Mm-hmm.
I went with my niece Jackie and I told her that I was going to talk about her because as we do, we go, we talk, we catch up. And I truly admire her. She's growing to be just an independent, very intelligent Black woman out there doing her thing, traveling, like just living her best life. And I'm like, go you, like, good job. I'm legit like really proud of her. But she's got a weird food hang up, and I told her I was going to talk about her. And I mean, and everybody has their own thing because I'm sure I have mine, and I probably discussed them before. But we were discussing foods and again, just cooking in general, and how she does not like peppers. I'm like, okay, is it like the texture? Is it the taste? What's happening? And she's like, yeah, I don't really care for the texture of it, and especially like if it's in a sandwich, or like if I get a sandwich and it also has a tomato, I don't want that either. I don't want that crunch. I only like specific crunches in my
Gotcha.
sandwich.
Yeah,
I'm like, huh, that is
that makes sense.
it made sense, but it just seemed odd because I'm like, I was kind of like that too, where I was just really picky about like certain foods, but that's really because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't taste them before. I didn't really
Mm-hmm.
see how it influenced whatever it was, the greater good of the food I was eating.
Uh-huh.
So I felt a little sad, but at the same time, like, okay, well, maybe that's something you'll grow out of because it happened to me too, where I was very picky. Like peppers, no, I don't want any of that. Take that away. Like the only thing right now that I still won't eat would be onions because of what it does to my body later. So
Yeah.
I usually just try to avoid that, but that's for that specific reason. But other things that actually enhance the flavor, I'm like, oh, okay. And sometimes knowing or even watching something be prepared enhances my enjoyability of that food or that dish or that
Mhm.
sandwich. So
Mhm.
just had to, kind of put that out there to keep your mind open, your horizons, because you never know.
Yeah. You
Do you have
never
any?
know.
Do you ever have any hangups like that? So she's not alone.
Um, and we're talking food hangups, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not too picky. I'm not too picky on food. I don't really miss a meal if I can help it. Um, and one of my love languages is just food. Like feed me and I'm happy.
Mm.
But I don't care for like I am a texture person. Now it's not to the point where I am like paralyzed by it and that I can't eat a whole like host of things because of the texture, but like pudding and so okay and to also back this up, I would eat the food, but I would be really really picky about my food touching. Now I'm
One of
not
those people.
yeah, I'm not like I've grown out of it. I can mix food together if it's touching. It doesn't like gross me out. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like savory and sweet stuff to like touch or mix because it just affects the taste to me. I'm gonna eat it, but I don't like if I can keep them separate, I would, be much happier. But my thing is I've grown out of that, but now I'm just more of a texture. Like I don't like soggy things. I'm okay with cornbread like sopping up something, but I don't want the cornbread to have sat in that thing
I get
because
that.
then it's
I get that.
mushy and gross.
You're right. And it just falls apart and it just tastes like whatever
Yeah.
liquid it's been sitting in. So yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, I just keep it separate, like completely. It's not even on the
Yeah.
plate.
Whole
If I can
different.
help it.
Yeah. If I can help it, that's how it is for me too. I don't care for like yogurt. I've mentioned pudding. I don't care for the taste of pudding anyway, but just the feeling of it being
Are you ruling out all pudding?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Jello, I'm not really
Yeah, Jello's hit or miss. I mean, I really have to be in the mood for Jello. Like I know there's always room for Jello, but I have to be in the mood for Jello.
Is there always room for Jello though?
I mean, what is it really? It's not a
it's
solid.
gelatin. It's not a solid, it's not a liquid, and it's gross and it's weird.
It's bones, apparently. Because
bones?
That's what someone told me. A vegan, I think it was a vegan, told me that it's made from like crushed bones or something, like bone powder. That was a huge rejection there.
Are you
I can feel your eyebrows just crunched up right now. Just you're really upset about this.
The bones of what though?
Oh, just people. I don't know.
People?
It's Soylent Green. It's Soylent Green. It's people. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, so we should just not ever eat Jello again. Because we can't even describe it. We don't even know. Like we don't even know.
It's
no, thank you.
It's what it is. It's Jello. It's there. I did have a tapioca pudding because you mentioned pudding. That's the only pudding for me that gets a big like, because I don't want lumps and things in the pudding. It's supposed to be creamy and delicious. So
why would you have lumps and things in a pudding though?
I don't know what tapioca is, and I really don't care to know. Like I can hear people telling me like tapioca. Nope, I don't want to know. I just don't want it. I associate it with old people for some reason because I guess they eat it.
Old people like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, they just want to feel it around in their gums. I'm sorry, that was ageist of me, but
that's very racist of old people. But I also just like, what's the other thing? Tiramisu. So I like tiramisu. I like the taste of it.
Too rich.
But it's very rich, but it's also just a weird texture.
It is a weird that too. I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
It's weird too. I'll eat both of those, creme brulee and tiramisu, but I have to.
You know what's weird?
What?
Flan is weird.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't
though.
know
I've
what it
heard
is
of
either,
it.
but I tried it and I'm like, okay.
Not a thing for you.
And I don't think so. And I think oh my god, is it dos leches or tres leches? It's like
I don't know.
maybe like 3 milks. It's like it's something that many of the Puerto Ricans that I work with, they have made it and brought it in, and I've tried it, and they're like, it's good, right? And I'm like, and I'm, trying to just get through it.
Not like offend them.
Yes, because on one hand, it like tastes good, but the texture is just so
Yeah.
off-putting that I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, pun unintended. It's like it's just
Off-putting.
I just can't. So I'll just have like a few bites
Yeah.
and wait for them to go away so I can just kind of disappear with it. I'm like, oh, I finished the whole thing. Nope, I don't want any more. I am full. I filled right up. So yeah. But yeah, we diverted there. But not diverted because I meant to bring up the food. That was part of my plan. So with all of that,
Listen, you asked the question, and if you didn't want a long, drawn out, ridiculous answer,
I know.
I don't know what to tell you. So.
That's what we're here for, to talk about the things that aren't being talked about. We're saying the quiet parts out loud. Flan is weird.
Exactly.
Stop eating it.
Right. What is it?
Whatever it is, stop eating it, because I don't know what it is. But yeah, we're gonna go to our
just explain it to us. But anyway.
Explain it, yes. Because I think it's made with eggs, maybe.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Is it like a dessert?
It's supposed to be a dessert. Like I would Google it, but we would be here.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Moving on.
You're moving on to something completely related. We're going to Word Watch. So do you know what the word pleach is or means?
Pleach. Please spell that.
Pleach. Pleach.
Exactly what I thought it was. How I thought it was spelled. Huh. I do not know what pleach means. I feel like it's a. Can I guess? Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
I feel like it's a really like shorthand way of saying please pass the bleach.
Wow.
Is that correct?
Not at all. No. I mean, it has nothing to do with bleach whatsoever. But I picked this word. I mean, because I get what you're going with, because you're doing like word association kind of, or what the word is similar to.
Correct.
But you're focused on the wrong part of the word.
Oh, okay.
So if you were to ignore the each part and focus on the PL, the pl, I guess.
So please.
Plants, basically. That's kind of where I was trying to get to. It's plants.
Oh, I would have never guessed that.
I know, and neither would I, because I saw the word come up and I'm like, pleach, what's this about? But pleach is to entwine or interlace, in brackets they have tree branches, to form a hedgeway or provide cover for an outdoor walkway.
Oh, like when you've got a pergola or a gazebo, and you've got a climbing plant that like covers like if it's an arch or a trellis or something, and the plant grows around it and covers it, like that sort of thing.
Sort of like that, but if you can like imagine like those fancy gardens, like where they have like the basically the hedges or bushes that just seem to grow up, and then they kind of make an archway out of it, out of the branches themselves.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if it also includes like what you just described, or having like vines or other kind of greenery grow up and around and intertwine within something that's already built, or does it have to already exist within itself like a tree?
I see. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I never knew that there was a specific term for that.
And neither did I, which is why I kind of enjoy getting these words emailed to me pretty much every day. And I just kind of go through it like, this word doesn't interest me. Like basically I'll get the word like in the headline, and if I'm not intrigued to actually open the email to see what it is, then I just kind of keep going, and then maybe around episode time I'll kind of go through. But this one came today, so I'm like, bleach. Does it have anything to do with like pleading while you're preaching, or does it have to do with, I don't know, playing with bleach, or I don't know.
Right. Glad
So
it's none of that.
it's none of that at all. So let's see. The trees were pleached to create a romantic walkway in the garden. Oh, it's just examples of pleach in a sentence.
I don't know if I've ever even heard this word or seen it. So,
well, I've never seen
like,
or heard it. It is a middle English, late Middle English word. So,
see. Well, that makes sense too, because they like to. I mean, that seems like you said an English term, right?
yes, like Middle English, like
yeah.
Let's see. Its most popular was, let's see, yes, the 1850, not 50s, 15s, I would say. Wow. And then again, maybe it made a comeback in like 1860.
Whoa.
And then kind of just died out since then. So, yeah.
Well, that makes sense, because I feel like back in that time period, they were, I guess not saying they're not like that now, but I feel like they were much more into their gardens and their I don't know. I'm just making things up.
Well, I think I have an idea of what may have happened here. Okay. I'll say around a little before 1900s, bleach was invented. So when people were talking about like doing their gardening, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to go out and bleach my trees. And they got confused. Like, you're going to bleach your trees. And then it was like, no, bleach. And then they're like, what? Please stop bleaching. So they got confused with bleach and bleach. And so they decided to just kind of drop bleach, because bleach was now the rave, and cleaning and getting spots all over your black, gowns, and then you have tired pants and shirts, like we discussed earlier.
That's clearly the only answer. Like, that's the correct answer.
I mean, that's what happened. Bleach was invented in 1899. So you can check it, because that is today's.
Was it really invented?
Or discovered or mixed. It's like a compound. I don't think you find it in nature. So somebody made it up.
Right. Had to create it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the story.
Okay, I accept it. That's canon.
And you can take that to the history books.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Take that to the history banks. I don't know.
Okay, so I did just do a quick Google, and let me tell you, I was only off by 100 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Bleach was invented. Nice. Well, a Scottish chemist and industrialist, Charles Tennant, proposed in 1798 a solution of calcium hypochlorite as an alternative for Javel water, whatever that is, and patented bleaching powder in 1799.
Wow. Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's a really good guess.
I mean, and that was based on the usage of the word bleach. So bleaching powder was around about the same time. So that's why they got a little confused, and bleach won. So there you have it.
Now you know.
Now you know. But since we were talking about facts, let's get into, because hey, in case you forgot, today is the first day of Black History Month. But here on the here on the Indu podcast, we celebrate Black history all year round.
That's
with our Black history facts.
Black history.
Black history.
Black history. Black history. Facts.
Like, I can't hear it at all, but I see it playing. So yes.
It was beautiful. I heard it. I loved it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that is the Indubian choir, or the quartet over there. So thank you so much. I will pass the basket along, because the times are hard out there. So
times are hard, man.
I know. Now, where did my article disappear to? Today's Black History Fact, brought to you by 99 Restaurant. We will be discussing Curtis Mayfield, who I feel like I may have discussed before, but I mean, he's such a prolific artist and just a person that I just wanted to highlight just a little bit, because he ties into something we're going to talk about in just a minute. So let me just tell you just a little bit about his activism that he usually did, like with his music, mostly with his music. So I'm just taking a passage here. Following the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, his group, The Impressions, produced music that became the soundtrack to a summer of revolution. It is even said that Keep on Pushing, like one of my favorite songs, became the #1 sing-along during the Freedom Rides. Black students sang their songs as they marched to jail or protested outside their universities, while King often used Keep on Pushing, People Get Ready, and We're a Winner because of their ability to motivate and inspire marchers. Mayfield had quickly become a civil rights hero with his ability to inspire hope and courage. And then it kind of goes on talking about, I'll read that too. Mayfield was unique in his ability to fuse relevant social commentary with melodies and lyrics that instilled a hopefulness for a better future in his listeners. He wrote and recorded the soundtrack to the 1972 blaxploitation film Superfly with the help of producer Johnny Pate. The soundtrack for Superfly is regarded as an all-time great body of work that captures the essence of life in the ghetto while criticizing the tendencies of young people to glorify the glamorous, that's in quotes, lifestyles of drug dealers and pimps, and illuminating the dark realities of drugs, addiction, and exploitation, which I can attest to having re-listened to the soundtrack as I do almost like once a year, it seems like. Still very much relevant. Like all of the lyrics and all the songs, I would say. So I just wanted to just highlight him because I mean he's great. He is one of my favorites. And I just felt like just highlighting him. But I do have a new segment that we're going to try out today. I don't have an official title for it yet. Just put it in quotes as like song breakdown. But Mr. Mayfield has an extensive back catalog, if you will. And one of the albums that I have come across that I really do love dearly because of other songs that are on it that led me to it, such as P.S. I Love You, one of my favorites of his. I have a lot of favorites of his, but let me see here because I have to find it. Where did it go? There it is. So the album came out, I believe, in, where did that information go? 1976. And the song is Party Night. Now, Dear and Doobie do go to your Spotify, go to your YouTubes, go to wherever you get your music from to go listen to the song. It's a great song, gets you hyped, gets you in the mood. You just can't help but just kind of feel your shoulders just like, oh, what's happening? Feeling this groove. So I'm going to break down the lyrics for you. And this is I want to say one of those gems, a hidden gem of a song. So if you're not familiar with it, that's fine. I'm pretty sure a good number of people today, unless they were fans of him prior, maybe haven't heard the song before. But I'm going to tell you about the song so then you go and listen to it for yourself. But I'm going to kind of go through the lyrics and kind of tell you what it's about. So he starts out saying like, check it out. And he's just kind of like the drums are just kind of, getting you in the mood, getting you ready. And in my mind's eye, I'm seeing what basically is the opening to Goodfellas, which is all a tracking shot, watching Henry, played by, oh my God, what is his name? I don't know. I forgot his name already. I'm thinking Pesto because that's kind of what he's in Animaniacs. Not Pesto, the other guy. Whatever. The opening scene in Goodfellas, where we're tracking our star, our anti-hero, if you will, as he goes through the club. He goes down the door, he goes and gets a table and sits at the club and gets into the party. I mean, this is called Party Night. So in my mind, I'm thinking he's going to like some house party, because in the song, they start out saying, when they actually start the song and start breaking it down, like, oh, this is the song. Because when that song really starts to kick in, you're actually in the party. Like you can hear it, you can feel it. And it goes, ooh, 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 hey, 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 have a party night. So we're having a party. Disco satellites, meaning like all these parties are happening, but this is the satellite. This is the disco where this is it.
This is the party. Yeah.
The party. Everybody was grooving. We were all moving. Like it's a party. We're having a party. That's what's happening. However, our hero here, Curtis, because I'm sure this is Curtis. Like this is happening to him in real time, and he's just telling us about it.
Mm-hmm.
He bumps into a girl that he used to know at the door, and we'll find out later that they had met prior. Like I said, he knew before, and he wanted to dance with her, but she's like, "No, I gotta go." So he's thinking, "Okay, I see you. We met before, and this time I want to make you mine. So let's go dance right now, because this time I know you don't have anywhere to go because you just got here. So we're gonna go dance." And I'm telling you, you don't have anywhere. You don't have anywhere to go. I mean, he's insistent. He says it a few times. So they start partying down, and everybody's partying, everybody's dancing, everybody's grooving, everybody's moving. And I mean, this girl, she was fire. She was bae. She was boo thing. And I'm sitting here still trying to figure out exactly who she looks like. So for you, Courtney, I'm going to say she looks like Tessa Thompson. So I mean, she's so, but I mean, 70s, 76. So she's got her hair just afroed out. Maybe she's got to pull back a little bit. Got some puffs going on. I don't know, whatever, suits the fancy of this story. But basically he's there with a Tessa Thompson lookalike, basically. But she's, she's looking good. She's dancing free. She's happy. And just the look on her face is exciting to Curtis. Like, it's like, wow, like we're finally doing it. Like I wanted to dance with you before. You didn't want to, but here we are.
Here you are. Yeah.
And just getting down and again, moving. Now, let me set the scene a little bit more for the party itself, because it's a classy party. Like they're getting funky, but there's also cheese and wine over there on the table. So
we fancy. Got it.
Fancy. You got your there's probably some hummus over there too, but you got your Swiss cheese blocks, your little cubes of cheddar,
nice.
The Asiago. You got all of it. It's good. You got the fancy cheese. Fancy.
Yeah.
The red wines, the white wines, the rosés, all of it. It's all there. So that's happening, and they're still dancing. And then he just turned around to see this girl just getting down. So I'm thinking, you just what is it? Beyonce and her mother, they've been doing this thing. I guess I don't know if it's on TikTok, but they do the challenge where they just kind of drop it low. I don't know if
well, they didn't do it, but they may have done it. I don't know.
Oh, I think they made it famous.
No, they didn't start it. I know, like the lady who started it is not Beyonce or her mother, but
correct.
But I've not seen them do it, and now I have to go look. So thanks.
No problem.
It was pretty famous before then, but
okay.
Beyonce does it because it's her song.
Right. Well, it's just people doing it out like in just random places. I've been seeing videos of that happen.
Yes.
I say all that to say that's what was happening at this particular party, because he's sitting there watching and like just the way she's getting down. But then he's just pleading to her, like, please give me all of your sweet loving. Like, I just want all of it. And he's pleading with his heart, his whole chest. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
I can feel it. Yeah.
I feel like that I miss a verse. Or a line in the verse, because I thought they said that it was pretty packed in there too. I mean, it's a party, so they did mention that not only is there cheese and wine, but it's also really full in this dancery that it's hard to turn around to you could hardly turn around. Right.
Ooh, it's packed up in there.
Packed in there, and all the sweet loving, because that's what I'm like, oh right, because it's just people sweaty and just funky, but maybe also that like you don't even care because you're having such a good time. So but he's able to keep an eye on his girl because he's got to. Right. Well, he's calling her his lady at this point, because like, hey, finally got to the floor, we're doing it, and
he's speaking into existence. That's what he's doing.
Exactly. Now apparently this party is like a legit party, because like I guess there's a band, because he said the set had just begun. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then
popping.
Right. And I mean, they were already partying before, but apparently like now it's really about to go down. Right. So now that they started playing, and then he turned around to see his girl, but she's gone.
No, where did she go?
Don't know. But the
What?
party goes on anyway because the place was in a
'Cause they don't
groove. Everyone's in a
know.
move. They don't
And they
know.
don't know. Like, they don't know that he's in like a whole quandary looking for this missing girl who I don't even know knows that he exists at this point. Like, does
Oh,
she
she
even
do.
know?
I mean,
Okay,
they
she
knew
knew. Okay.
they met each other before prior,
Got
and
it,
she
got
was
it.
like, "No,
Okay.
I gotta go." But this time, she's like, "Nope, you dancing with
Right.
me." So they were dancing together.
You did say
But
that.
she
Okay,
was
I'm
like,
sorry.
"Yeah," she's like, "Okay, I'm out now
I'm out of
because I
here.
at least we did our thing, and I'm just gonna leave you hanging because that's what I do."
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, she's just
I mean,
mysterious like that.
it's really like that's trifling though, but yeah.
Meanwhile, the party was still going on. The place was in a groove, and all he could do, I mean, they were ripping up the floor because that's what they say back in the day when they were dancing, just cutting a rug.
Right.
So,
Kind of right, yeah.
but all he could do is just pray for more and just missing that girl because
Mm.
rough, man. And he continues to plead, "I just want that sweet loving. Give me that sweet loving."
Is she just holding back? Like, but for what though? Because she wants it, but maybe she likes to tease. Some women like that.
I think so. Maybe she just wanted the chase, perhaps.
Yeah, she wanted to be chased. She wanted to play hard to get or whatever. Yeah, that's got to be it.
So that was my version of the song itself, and I had gone back. I'd gone back and listened and looked at the lyrics, and I think, first of all, some of the lyrics are like they wrote some of them wrong. And I'm also thinking, well, it's possible that maybe she didn't go because also the way that he sings that particular line when he looked up and my girl was gone, he goes right into the next line saying, "Get down with my baby," meaning maybe she's just really into the groove that she's not like, she didn't leave like the presence.
She's studying him.
Yeah, she actually could still be there. But I liked my original interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I felt my original interpretation was a better story because it set me up from the beginning that like, hey, you tried to leave me before. You're not leaving this time, but she actually found a way to leave anyway.
But I don't know. It sounds real stalkerish. Like if she's ready to go, why are you forcing her to stay in a place that she don't want to stay?
Well,
what I'm saying?
As far as we know, he didn't put his hands on her or anything or kind of lock her down. He's just like, hey, I just want to dance with you. I just want your sweet loving.
She don't want to dance with him though,
True.
I don't know.
I guess. I suppose.
Need him to like simmer down a bit.
I suppose. And if it went the other way and maybe she actually did stay and she was just really in the groove and they continued to dance and maybe they actually started a relationship and I was just, misinterpreting the song, or at least in that part of it, then it would make sense because 2 songs later, there's a song called Soul Music.
Okay.
I'm not going to break that one down completely, but it has a very similar vibe in that they are, because he and his lady, we'll say it's Tessa or Tessa adjacent, and they're actually just partying around town. They're just going all over the city because there's nothing like soul music in the city. And it doesn't matter where they go. They're going to have a groovy time together anyway.
That's true.
So for me, that is the continuation. That is, if my original interpretation was incorrect, then soul music is part 2 of that original night.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I like that. I like the idea that it continued, that everything is consensual. She wants to be there, that sort of thing. I like that interpretation.
But I did like your spin too, where she's just playing hard to get. She's playing a tease. Like, okay, I gave you that one dance. I gave you that one dance. And now I'm done.
Be gone.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Right. Like she could still be at the party. He just can't find her.
I mean, if it's that crowded where it's like shoulder to shoulder, you can't even sit down. Who are we to, we don't know.
Right.
It's probably crowded.
Because I'm thinking
he can't keep track of her.
I'm thinking of Matrix Reloaded, like when they were in Zion.
Yes.
Having that party.
Yes. There's no way you could find anybody in there.
Exactly.
Unless you came with them and you stuck with them.
Another image that came to mind was the cover of Marvin Gaye's album, which is actually a painting, which I meant to look up, where it's just, Black people just getting funky and just looking all weird, but also having a good time. Right. So I'm thinking it's a party like that too. But again, how can you find her when she has disappeared and doesn't want to be found? That is, if that's what happened. So
listen, she knows what she's doing. I maintain that.
Absolutely. So that is my breakdown for Party Night. I do recommend checking it out. It's a great song. I've been pretty much listening to it all day. But for me, when it does come on, I can't help but repeat it anyway because it's just gets you just in a good mood.
Mhm.
And it's sad to say sometimes some of the really like just good sounding songs, like, ooh, this sounds like a fun song. And they actually break down the lyrics, like, oh, this is kind of sad.
That's very wrong. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, hey, check it out. Let me know what you think actually happened in the song. Same for you, Courtney, because I'm not sure if you've ever heard it before, but you can go take a listen.
I can't wait.
So this may be a recurring segment, and I already have, and this is one of the few times I will actually tell you what I'm going to do next time. So should this segment come back, and sure, it will. My next song I have queued up is James Brown, The Payback.
Ooh, I can't wait. Cannot wait to hear it. Your interpretation of it, I should say.
With that said, if you have a song that you want me to interpret and tell you the story behind that song, then by all means, please let me know. Email me at ndupod@gmail.com. You can tweet at me. And I guess a few of you actually see me in person. You can actually tell me too if you want. And this invitation is also open to you, Courtney. So if you have a song that you want me to interpret, then I need to know ahead of time so I have time to listen to it and analyze it. I'm like, I see the story here. I see what happened.
Put your big brain on it.
Yeah. No, break it down. I'm like, okay, see, here's what really happened. Yeah. So next episode, I will break down James Brown's The Payback. The Payback. Yeah. Right. I've already started like analyzing it and had that song on repeat for a while too. I even listened to the whole album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know. I was ready. I had to make sure that this segment can be sustainable. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I can tell you now, fortunately, that song is the only song that's relevant to the story. So the other songs on that album is just him jamming with the band. And that's really what that album really sounds like. It's just, okay, we're just a jam session, just record it, put it out.
I mean, that sounds awesome too.
Cut to check.
But not helpful for the segment. I get it.
It isn't, but it made my job a little bit easier. I'm like, okay, all I have to do is just listen to the song, which is 7 minutes long. 7 minutes.
Yes. I love that in just that time period, songs were long, and they were meant to be danced to. I love that. Exactly.
And either dance to, or it's just their jam session where they're like, let's just keep recording.
Yeah. And then they release it on the full album. That's amazing.
Bringing it back to Curtis Mayfield, the Keep on Pushing extended version has one of the best drum solos I think ever recorded, in my opinion. So
nice.
Not even just drum session, but a bongo session.
Ooh.
Not session, but bongo like breakdown, if you will.
Like solo. Yeah.
Or maybe congos.
Awesome.
I don't know I don't know what they are, but I know their hands must be sore by the time they're done. But it's just amazing. Like, I'm so glad you got that recorded.
Yeah. And then release it to us. That's amazing.
I know. And it's there for us to enjoy. So go check that out. Go check out. I never told you the name of the album that it's on. The name of the album. I mean, the whole album is good too, by the way. But Give, Get, Take, and Have.
Okay. That's powerful. Give, Get, Take, and Have.
It's also the track that's between Party Night and Soul Music, which I haven't listened to that often. So I didn't actually see if that actually does connect to my overall story of what happened. Yeah. So the song itself is called Get a Little Bit. So maybe.
Nice.
But now we're gonna move on to one of your favorite games.
What is it?
Florida or Flora Don't.
It is one of my favorite games. I thought you were talking about the other game about the Spookums, which is not a game, but whatever.
It's not a game. No, I don't have a Spookums for you today, but let's get going. All right, it's time for Florida or Florida Don't. My first story. Oh, again, if you're uninitiated, I read a headline, and anyone listening, I mean, mostly tonight, it's just Courtney, will guess if this takes place in Florida or if it does not. A buffet brawl erupts after Golden Corral runs out of steak.
Definitely Florida.
I'll have to send you this one because it has a video and it's pretty crazy. It's intense.
I can't
But
wait to see it.
you got it incorrect.
Oh, it's another southern state though, for sure.
Nope, wrong again.
What?
Yep, this happened in
Man.
Pennsylvania.
What? I am appalled. I cannot believe it. What is happening with you Yankees up there? Ain't y'all all Yankees if you're from the north? I don't know.
I don't know. This I don't know if Pennsylvanians are considered. I guess so. I mean, they're above the Mason-Dixon line. So
I think that's what's that's the only like requirement is you have to be above the Mason-Dixon line.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like white people make that rule, so I don't know.
You probably, yeah. See, racism everywhere. But this happened Friday, so this was very recent, and it was trending today on Twitter. So I saw it. I'm like, oh, well, this is going in the game.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
I can't believe it stumped me. I'm embarrassed.
It's all right.
Out of practice.
I mean,
I'm out of practice.
I was waiting for it to say that this happened in Florida as I was reading it, and then I was surprised to find like, oh, Pennsylvania. What are y'all?
I thought they were like civilized up there.
No. Now that I think about it, they're not, because there was a time I think it was the Eagles. I think they won either the Super Bowl or they won something.
Yeah, something big, and then they like burned the city down, basically.
Pretty much, and I think even horse poop was eaten or danced in or something happened involving. It was insane.
No, that's crazy.
People in maybe not Philly, but they're crazy over there too. So
well, one of my best friends is a huge Eagles fan, and she was very happy, but also very embarrassed at that because she's like, yeah, that's ridiculous. But also she's from the South, so thank you. We are civilized down here, please and thank you. But apparently not up north.
Well, I mean, they're out here. They're out here.
Yes.
We'll move on to move on to the next one. See if you can redeem yourself. All right. Murder conviction tossed. Oops, got an ad that just popped up in my face. Okay, murder conviction tossed after judge found to be having an affair with the prosecutor.
What? Wow. Well, now I'm starting to doubt my superpowers of finding or identifying these things. I'm gonna stick with Florida though. Like, ooh. I don't like your tone though.
No, I'm trying to do it's just like a neutral. Okay.
I'm gonna stick with my answer though. Florida.
It's Florida don't.
What?
This happened in Oklahoma. Nope, Oklahoma.
Okay, well that's kind of south. Okay.
You sound like you're like taking them in as like, okay, that's one of our people, one of the Southerners. All right.
I mean, they're kind of south. I mean, I guess they're technically south. I don't know. Whatever.
They're in the plains, the Midwest.
Yeah, they're not quite Midwest though, right? I mean,
no.
I don't know.
I don't really know where the Midwest begins or ends.
Right. That's it. That's never been. But I don't know that Oklahoma has ever been considered Midwest. I don't know that they aren't considered Midwest, but I don't know. I don't think they're considered South either. Whatever. Point is, I'm wrong, and I feel quite defeated.
I'm gonna ask a special guest this question real quick. Computer, is Oklahoma in the Midwest?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Phil.com, Oklahoma is a state in the south central region of the United States.
South Central.
Texas on the south and west, Kansas on the north, Missouri on the northeast, Arkansas on the east, New Mexico on the west, and Colorado
Okay, thank you.
So yes, it's in the South.
I guess it's in the South. All right. Thank you, Alexa, for that. Because I don't think that really helped me determine where the Midwest is or is
Right.
not. And I don't really feel like asking right now. We're going to move on to the next story. Because I usually try to do 3 unless we have more guests. Then sometimes I like to do a little bit more.
So I can't like redeem myself like it's done this round.
I mean,
this
I
episode.
could steal from our good friends from the Black Guy Who Tips and just double the points or triple the points. I'm sorry for this last one. So it could still be anyone's game, which is just you. So you can still redeem yourself until we start doing this, like these podcasts live. We have like a chat group that we can kind of watch and they can kind of chime in. So this man injured fighting. I'm sorry, let me try reading like a human.
A normal person, yeah.
Like an adult, right? Man injured fighting off bear to protect his dogs. Oh.
Florida don't.
Nope, it's Florida.
What?
This is Daytona Beach.
I give up, you know.
I purposely picked this one because I thought it would throw you off because like
It did.
you don't really hear about
Bears
bears
in
in Florida. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that was me, my little trickery.
It worked. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on now. We are going to go to space. All right. Now, I've got a story for you before we get to our big space story, or rather a continuation from last episode. But we'll just start with the headline here. Earth being followed by a Trojan asteroid. Scientists confirm.
What? What?
Earth is okay. I was going to read that sentence, but it's actually the same headline. It is only the second such object ever discovered and a much more promising specimen than the previous one, researchers say. What's more, humans may one day be able to visit the rock, settling human bases there, researchers say. Is this the beginning of the article? It is. Okay. I'm waiting for them to tell me what a Trojan. There it is. Trojan asteroids share their orbit with a planet. The small objects stay in a stable orbit just ahead of or behind the world they are attached to. So think of it as a very like distant moon, if you will.
Sure.
So it's just, out there flying around, but it's not going to like attack us one day. So, but it continues. They have been found a number of times in the past and take their name from those that were first found around Jupiter, where they are named after figures from the Trojan War. But barely any have ever been spotted in Earth, or rather Earth's orbit. Only one, known as the 2010 TK7, but the 7 is like below. I don't know how that works. Anyway, has ever been definitely found before. On December 12th, there's a close date there. On December 12th, 2020. I know. However, on December 12th, 2020, however, scientists spotted an intriguing target. Early observations suggested it was another Earth Trojan, but it was hard to verify. With very few observations, it was hard to know for sure where its orbit went. Now, researchers have detailed that orbit by combining data from archives with observations conducted from Earth. That work confirms that the object is actually an Earth Trojan, as suspected. That was a very wordy paragraph. It still remains unclear where exactly it came from. It might have begun its life in the main asteroid belt further out in the solar system and been thrown out when it interacted with Jupiter's gravity, but that remains unclear. Scientists do know where the object is going, however. It's not where it came from. Observations suggest the orbit means it will stay in its current orbit for another 4,000 years. So, they've got some time. It also appears to be a C complex type asteroid made of mostly carbon. The new asteroid, known as 2020 XL lowercase 5, is also bigger. I mean, I don't know how to read that.
Right.
Is also bigger than its predecessor, as well as being able to visit with less fuel needed. Therefore, These objects may become ideal targets for space missions and, in more distant future, to settle human bases or install scientific hardware that would benefit from their peculiar location. They detail that research is a new study, orbital stability and analysis, and photometric characterization of the second Earth Trojan asteroid 2020 XL5, capital 5, published in Nature Communications. So find Nature Communications. You can read more about it because my mouth is tired from reading that last paragraph. Good Lord.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I started to tune you out a little bit. It was
I
too many
know.
numbers,
I'm
you
so
know?
sorry. And I mean, I read like the first few paragraphs, like, oh, this is interesting. And I'm like, oh, I should have kept reading.
It continues.
Mhm. If anything, I can post the article in the show notes so you can go back to read it and then go do further research. And then you can see what an under a lowercase 5 looks like, because I don't know
Mhm.
really like what that means. Science speak.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah.
I mean, I keep trying to call Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he doesn't answer my calls anymore. So
Rude. That's just rude.
we were friends. Anyway, our big topic is the James Webb Telescope, since we had discussed it last episode. And I really didn't know that much about it other than the fact that it was meant to be, well, I mean, it is bigger than the Hubble. It sees farther and much more than the Hubble because the Hubble is so close. The James Webb is much farther away. And it has just launched, or not just launched, but it's just gotten to place. And I guess starting to take some pictures and we get to see some stuff. But you have some more information for us?
A little bit more. So yeah, it is in place where it's supposed to be parked for, I don't know how long, but like it's made it there. And so that's a big deal, because this is a multi-billion dollar endeavor, and it's apparently taken, over 30 years to get into place, which makes sense. It's a huge like new thing, but it's in place. Everything went as planned, but so apparently it reaches orbital destination called the Lagrange point 2, or L2 for short, which is a point at which it can keep the Earth exactly between it and the sun at all times. And I believe that's very important because part of its specialty is basically blocking out the sun's light, which would affect how far it can see, if I'm understanding correctly. And so it's got all these mirrors. Yeah, it's got all these mirrors and things, and essentially, like I said, it's to reflect the light back to the sun and to be able to see well. And so it's got to the point. Now, I mentioned earlier in the episode that, we were talking about wonky things. The L2, I saw an animation kind of explaining what the orbit looks like for the James Webb. And it's very, I cannot explain it. So you're gonna have to go and search Google because it isn't, straight or necessarily linear. I mean, an orbit is in a circle, so to speak, but it's in like a wonky circle, and it's very weird. So definitely go take a look at it. Explain it to me like I'm 5 when you understand it, because I don't know.
I think I've seen this animation, and it's almost as if the satellite is adjacent to Earth's orbit, where it's kind of keeping
like that,
keeping in line with it as it's rotating the sun, but it's also like keeping in line with Earth, like as many miles away as it is.
Yes.
So it can always kind of, have that same back and forth, rather than, any other planet can't keep the same orbit because they travel at a different speed. So it's traveling at the same speed of Earth and keeping up with Earth in their orbit. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more going on with it. Basically, it's having to, there's something with it that kind of keeps its instruments warm, because space is very, very cold. And so to keep its instruments warm, it's got heaters of some sort, keeping everything at the right temperature. And apparently it's going to have to turn them off. That's the next step, is getting them turned off so that they will reach those extremely cold operating temperatures. Um, Now, this is because of a lot of different reasons. I just, I'm not a scientist. I know enough to understand it, but explaining it,
Like you get it, but just repeating it back to people that they can
no,
digest it is just
not gonna happen.
it's above your pay
Mm-mm.
grade. It's above.
It is way above my pay grade. It's very interesting though.
Oh,
But one of the
absolutely.
big things that I definitely do understand is right now NASA is preparing to align each of their 18 like primary mirror segments. And if you've seen any pictures of the James Webb, it's humongous. The space station itself is humongous. And so I can't remember how many mirrors it has or how many mirror segments it has, but for them to align those things, it's very painstaking, it's very meticulous. But the point of that is so that they can focus on a single target and so they can look in the same way, and that's going to help them have that laser focus clarity of whatever target they're pointing towards. So
Hmm.
that's, I don't know how long that takes, but apparently it is a huge deal. That's the next step. And so that's what they're working on now.
Hmm. And I mean, the whole project is huge. It's something that a lot of nerds like us are just excited about, see what they see. And rest
Mhm.
assured, once they get like their first pictures back, whatever it is, we'll probably be talking about it as well as looking at it. I'm like, ooh, look, it's not fuzzy, or I don't know. It depends what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting, and we just have to wait because I mean it's out there in space, and then again it just makes you feel pretty small and like, oh wow, that's really far away, isn't it? Yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
waiting for all the data and information to travel back and forth, and just
Mhm.
just hope nothing goes wrong, because nobody's going to be out there
Mhm.
to go fix it like they did with
To
the Hubble.
fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting stuff, and I'm glad, like, if there are any minor or even major issues that are happening, they haven't been report well, I haven't seen it. So it's pretty exciting to, see this huge, much anticipated telescope do its thing and things seemingly going really well and
Mhm.
almost as planned. So I hope it
As it
continues
should.
that way,
Yes.
as it
Yes.
should, But it's just nice that it seems to be going like it's supposed to right now. So
Right. And yes, sometimes things happen, but fortunately,
yeah.
hopefully everything will stay, like you said, good.
Mhm.
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 And we won't have any Hubble mistakes or any kind of mistakes. And hopefully we should be fine. We shouldn't have any gravity mistakes, meaning the Kepler syndrome, Kepler, I think.
Kepler. Mhm.
Because it's way out of the orbit that Earth won't be shielded in, and make its
Right.
own ring, which really upset
Mhm.
you last time. So
It really did.
it really
Still
did.
mad about it.
And it just tickled me so much. Like, wow, did not expect that reaction. But now you're a little bit terrified that there's an asteroid just following us or kind of stalking us. And hopefully they don't collide either, because that would suck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't look up.
We'll move on to something happier, like
Yeah.
our moment of gratitude. Like, do you want to go first of what you might be grateful for?
Yes. You go first. I always go first.
Oh, okay. I'll go first because I actually wrote it down, was prepared, because sometimes I'm like, oh, what am I going to
Nice.
think about? But yeah, so it's gonna go. It's I don't want to say it's gonna be deep, but it's a lot happened like this past weekend, which I'm really grateful for. Like just seeing another year and all that.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna go a little spiritual here because hey, it's my podcast, do what I want. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was, and I'm going to title this little piece here, I'm grateful for the capacity for compassion, because I worked a radio shift Saturday night, and then I usually go to the church and I go take a nap before church starts. But my dad was like, hey, because of the snow and just everything happening, we're just going to cancel service today. So I'm like, okay, cool. So normally, what I'll do, I'll just go home. But then I just kind of felt like this impression from God saying, hey, why don't you go? Oh, because as I told you last episode, my church does a warming center. So it's actually like registered with the state, which I was not aware of. So there are people that from all over the state that get dropped off there sometimes. So I heeded this message and basically this impression, and I went to go stop. I got like 24 donuts, and then I just went to drop by. I'm like, hey, I know church isn't happening or nothing's gonna happen. I'm just gonna drop these off. And I knew the person who was volunteering at the time at that particular hour, and she was like, oh, thank you so much for bringing these. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I left, and just before I did, there's this guy who came out and like, hey, he was really nervous, like, I don't know if you can or if you got the time, but do you think you could bring me home? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah, sure, whatever, come on, let's go. And I accepted, not even knowing where he lived, where I was going to, but I'm like, hey, I've got the time. I know it takes me some time to wind down after the shift, so I know I'm just going to go home and just, like, I don't know, watch TV for like 2 hours until I fall asleep. So I'm like, whatever, sure, you can come with me. So get in the car and find out that where he's going is actually one town over from where I live. So
wow,
it was like just very convenient. So we were able to talk. He told me not his entire life story, but basically how he ended up at the warming center. Now, if you've ever been to a warming center, it's basically just a place where like people homeless or just they don't have a place to go. Maybe they do live in their car, or for whatever reason they don't have heat and they need someplace safe to stay for the night, or even longer, as it has been, like we talked about the bomb cyclone and just being super cold for a while. So
yeah,
this guy showed up, I think on Friday, or if not Friday, then Saturday, and wasn't sure how he was going to get back home. He had come from a rehabilitation place. He found himself trying to survive under a bridge. And police found him and brought him to our church to, for safekeeping. And he was like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get back. Like, I feel like I was going to lose my family. And, he was just basically just pouring himself out. And I just encouraged him, tell him, like, hey, at least you made it. You're alive to see another day, and you're going to go see your family soon. So he just kind of kept asking me like what I can do, what he can do to thank me. And I just kept telling him, like, hey, just remember everything that you've been through and just use that to keep you from making that mistake again. So that way you don't end up in a situation like this. And we also passed a place that I was familiar with. He's always seen, like, it's in his town, where we've made it to his town by at this point. And like, another way you can thank me, go to that place and try their wings. Change your life. And he reacted the same way. He had a big laugh about it. I'm like, yeah, okay. I've always seen this place. I never even knew they had wings. I'm like, yep, they are absolutely delicious. You don't even have to go inside. Just get it to go. I mean, they've got other food. I've never had it, but go get the wings, and you will thank. That's how you can thank me. But also all the other stuff I said, do that too. But
that too, yeah.
But yeah, get their wings. So. Yeah, so I felt like my real purpose for like bringing the donuts was to meet this guy and to like help him to get home. And it felt really good just to be selfless and to help. And then I told my mom about it yesterday, and she gave me even more insight. It's like, yeah, what you didn't know is because of the snowstorm and everything that was happening that day, because like I told you earlier, there was a snowstorm on Saturday. And he was trapped out in the snowstorm and was rescued basically. Normally, like the soup kitchen and maybe some other places that are usually open, would like maybe donate some food, or they would have breakfast, but they didn't have any food. They didn't know where they were going to get any food from. So the fact that I show up with donuts, like unannounced, nobody told me to, was a huge blessing for them. And I had no idea that, that was even needed. And for me, that's further proof that God is real and he talks to us. So I am definitely a Christian, not by religion, but by relationship, because you can talk to God all you want, but you have to listen too. So I'm grateful for the capacity for compassion and just being open and receptive and listening and helping people. And it felt really good to be used in that way. So that is what I'm grateful for, that I was able to help people.
Excellent. That's such an awesome story. You should feel proud and you should feel grateful for that because that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you get to see another year. You've made it another year around the sun, so that you can continue spreading, your goodness and your light. Continue with the podcast and all you do for it. Continue with the work of God because that is what you did. I think is the most important part of Christianity, and
Mm.
it should be the heart of Christianity and Jesus's mission, which is to reach people and to minister to people where they are
Mm-hmm.
in the way that they need. And so I think you have shown a shining example of just that, and we need more of that. That is what people need. This is what it's all about, I think. And so
I agree.
you did that. It was, I mean, I hate to call it small and to because it's not to say to lessen or diminish what you did because it was huge, but the act itself was pretty simple. I mean, you just got donuts
Mm-hmm.
and you gave somebody a ride. That is in most of our capabilities and means to do, but
Mm-hmm.
the impact of it was it's possible that you may never even see how huge of an impact that was.
Right.
So I'm just grateful for you as my friend, as
Oh.
my co-podcaster, and as someone who shows Christianity and shows love to the world, to the people you don't even know,
Mm-hmm.
and to the people that you do, of course.
I never did get his name,
that's
but
amazing.
it didn't matter to me. So,
well,
it mattered, but
it matters.
just,
but I get, yeah.
I needed to, it's like, let me just get you home. Like it wasn't important at the time because I could get his name. Like you have to sign in and everything, but I just want to make sure he was safe, got home.
Yeah.
That
and
was
that's
the important
amazing.
part. Yeah.
Like you didn't have to record it. You didn't have to put it on social media. You didn't have to do all that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that or there's nothing inherently wrong with all that. But
right. Because I wasn't looking for anything from it whatsoever.
Glory. You weren't looking for the glory or the praise or whatever. You just literally saw a need and you met it. And that's your personality, I think. Like that's you. That's just who you are. And you remind me that there's a lot of good in the world, even though there's a lot of bad. There's not, there's sometimes enough to make you go crazy and to make you kind of forget the good. But you remind me that there are good people who truly want to live and exemplify what they believe and what they want to see in the world. So I'm grateful for you, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much. And I will say that is another part of my birthday weekend that did make it pretty special. Just, just not about me. So, yeah. So we will transition from these heartwarming feelings to any recommendations you may have.
Listen, I actually don't have any good recommendations this week. I haven't been consuming any anything really. I think I mentioned I don't know if I mentioned this actually because I am reading a new book for book club. We're reading Dial A for Aunties.
Okay.
And it's a very good book. It's about an Asian family. They are I try to be correct in their nationality, but I can't remember. But it's by Jesse Q Sutanto, and it's about basically a family and a group of Asian aunties coming to the rescue because there's also a dead body happens to appear.
Oh, all right.
Some form or fashion.
It took a turn.
Yeah. It did in the book too. So it is a comedy. So it's not anything super heavy, but it's pretty funny. it explores basically the relationship between in families and dynamics between a niece and her aunties and a daughter and her mom and just all the intricate dynamics that come along with that. So that is a great book. I highly recommend it. I'm about halfway through it and hope to finish it soon just because it's so good and I want to know how it ends. But
I see
definitely
Indonesia
check
and
it out.
Singapore.
Yes. Okay, yes. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Because they mention like the languages they speak Indonesian as well as Mandarin, as well as a couple of other languages, including English and another language that I can't think of. So anywho, yeah, they are Indonesian, yes. So but they're in America and that plays
Hmm.
a big part of the plot already. So it's just a good book. It's really good. I can't recommend it enough.
It does look interesting. Once you started saying it was funny, I'm like, okay, I think I
Yeah,
might be
it's
in.
not yeah, it's not like scary, it's not deep, it's not super heavy. It is a very light hearted read, funny. I love it. So good.
On a side
Easy,
note,
and
if
it's a quick and easy read too. I'll say
oh,
that.
okay, well, I do know you to be a voracious reader. Like you will consume an actual book, not like an audiobook, like I will
Yeah,
do. So,
yeah. I like audiobooks too. Don't knock them.
oh, I absolutely don't. I love them. Like that's what I do like to get through work. Like I'll
Yeah,
just
me too.
eat up a whole book. But the thing about it for me is I feel like, and I think I'm going to start doing it this year, not because it has anything to do with years, but like after I read an audiobook or listen to one, if my wife hears me,
Hmm.
I will do some kind of like book report. So at least I can retain what I read or what I consumed. So it doesn't go to waste because I've gone through so many audiobooks that like, wow, that was really good, but I can't like tell you what it was about or like any key points that really stood out to me. And
Hmm.
I'm going to go back and do that with a couple of them, probably starting with James Baldwin because he is a writer that really like captures my interest. So
Hmm.
I'll probably do that now that I actually own one of them rather than just borrowing them from the library. But the side note I wanted to throw in there real quick is if you ever ask Alexa to translate anything into Chinese, it's going to say it in Mandarin. Even though I know
Okay.
that they have, I think China has two languages, Mandarin and Cantonese was the other one.
Cantonese, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if you want to be specific, you have to say either Cantonese or Mandarin if you
Hmm.
want Alexa to say. I don't know if that works for Siri. I don't know if that works for Google, but at least for Alexa, because we were playing with Alexa one day and having her translate a whole bunch of things. And the voiceover artists are different for each language that you choose. So
Interesting. Did not know that. I am not a big fan of Alexa, so I wouldn't know that
well, I
ever.
only because we were doing it so many times and Ashley was like, why does she sound so different when she says it in like whatever language that we ask her to say it in? It's like, well,
Hmm.
and as we started as I was listening to more of it, I'm like, oh, it's just a different voiceover artist that sounds similar to Alexa.
Oh,
Because I mean, unless that voice artist is that talented that she will say all of these things in that language and just drop her like not dialect but like her tone. I don't know, it to me that makes the most sense, just have a different artist for each language.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chinese and well, not Chinese, I'm so sorry. Mandarin, I feel like is all about the tones that you use, and that has a lot to do with the actual language and the meaning of what you're saying. I don't
mhm.
know about Cantonese, and I might even be mixing the two, but I'm pretty sure with Mandarin, it's the tone that you use, and um, that has a big effect on like what you're actually saying. And so what you're saying by using a different voice artist makes sense to me
Mhm.
because yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah, if you're like a regular old American, you don't know that, and then you just
Right.
say something, and then someone who actually speaks Mandarin or Cantonese or
Hmm.
whatever language is like, you're saying it all wrong. So yeah, best just to get the person who can say it and pronounce it correctly, and everybody wins.
Hmm.
So for my recommendation, I'm going to recommend a sitcom that you can find on Hulu that I found interesting. I gave this recommendation to Jackie as well as we dined last evening. And
Mhm.
my sitcom I'm going to recommend is The Grand Crew, or I'm not sure if the is in the title, but it could be just Grand Crew. And it's not that it's a great sitcom. I like it because it's what you would find in like any random, like, I'm just going to say like a white sitcom. Like there's just a group of friends at a
Yeah.
bar
Yeah.
and they're just going through life and whatever. But they're all black this time. And this time it's
Ooh.
just, there's not like anything inherently black about it. Like they're not using like any kind of like black slang or just
Right. Ebonics or whatever.
right, or they're dealing with black only problems. It's just regular
Mhm.
people problems that just happen to be all
Yeah.
black people. So
Which is
or
like my kind of TV.
yeah,
My
so
kind of
it's
episode.
it's between like a mix of like Frasier and I was gonna say Friends, but some maybe yeah, we'll go with Friends, whatever.
Sure.
And except no, studio audience, which I hate these days now, the canned laughter.
Yeah.
Just leave
It's
it.
the worst.
Yeah, leave it in 2020. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that bad. So but I definitely recommend it. And there, I think it might be the second episode. I feel like for me, like, yes, more episodes like this because it just gets so silly and like ridiculous, a little bit absurd in a way, but
Mhm.
in a good way. Like it almost like it's scratching at 30 Rock and its absurdities at times for those who watched that show or have watched that show, where they can go really out there sometimes, like what
Mhm.
world is this? But it's great. I love it. It's still maybe a little clunky at some parts, but that's okay. It's the first season. They're still getting their feet wet, and I hope that
Yeah.
it succeeds because I'm actually enjoying it very much. I'm glad Nicole Byer is getting out there and she's getting love and support, and she's on like several things because she's on Wipeout too, and she's on this show, and
Mhm.
it's great. I'm loving it. So that is my recommendation. Go check out Grand Crew. You can watch it on NBC if you still watch TV like a plebeian, or you can watch it on Hulu. And I think it's on.
Not a
Comes out.
plebeian.
I mean, what else? What back in 2020 is when people were watching
Mhm.
TV like regular people or old people, not old people, but like back in the day, and
Mhm.
back in the days 2020. So yeah, when you actually had to turn the TV on at a certain time at a certain channel rather than just like
Or you're gonna miss it.
right. So Hulu, watch it there. And Grand Crew, that's I'm trying to think if there's any other parts about it that I really like, but it's just good. It's just good to have on even in the background if you're not whatever. There's a few other shows I watch
Mhm.
around it, like Abbott Elementary, which we talked about before.
Yes.
It's still a recommendation.
Yes.
And
And I think I'm a couple episodes behind on that, so I get to binge
yay.
just a little bit. Yeah.
I know, and you'll really enjoy it. And then thinking like, oh wait, yeah, if I was a plebeian, I could watch it tonight. But yeah, I'm not. I'm above that now.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. What are you talking about? You're one of those too.
I am.
Yeah, you don't have.
I'm still
No.
I don't. I get to wait till tomorrow, just like you. So
Yeah, just like me.
well.
So that's our Wednesday. Like I have my Wednesday schedule. I have Abbott Elementary, American Auto,
Mhm.
Grand Crew, and Boba Fett. If I can manage to fit that all in, so we'll see.
That's on
So-
TV.
Right. So where can the good people find you should you want to be found?
Y'all can find me at IMK Hinton on the Twitters.
Great. You
That's
can.
it.
I liked how you ended it that way. It sounded like a full like stop, like a period. Just
Whatever.
brought it down. Whereas like sometimes
Anyway.
like you can find me, Courtney Nicole Hinton. Whereas like okay,
That's
you're
not
done,
how
you're
I
done.
do it.
mhm. Where you have these like invisible ellipses. I'm like, what's happening here? Are you done? Are you having a?
Pause.
Did you freeze? Are you frozen?
Whatever.
Follow me. You can follow me all things at Indoob. I am also on TikTok. I just have that one video, which people like. So that's great.
Mhm.
Mhm. And you can go to Indoob.com, which has not been updated, but soon will be one of these days. Tell someone you value them, live without regrets, and live for the folks you love. Please wash your legs, your face, the bottoms of your feet, the undersides of your dishes, get vaccinated, get boosted, and wear your K95 or KN95 or N95
Mm-hmm.
mask or multiple
just
masks.
double, triple mask up. Do what you got to do to stay safe, because it's out in them streets. Okay.
It's out there, or just stay home, or I don't know, go to the moon. I was gonna say go to the James Webb Telescope, but don't touch it.
It's
Don't
too
go
far.
over there. Yeah,
No, we don't need to mess with it. It's too expensive.
go to that asteroid I just told you about.
Yeah,
Something
they-
2020 XL lowercase
Whatever
5.
asteroid. Yeah,
Right.
the Trojan. Trojan? No.
Trojan, yeah, the Trojan asteroid.
Okay, yeah.
Trojan men. Wait, nope, sorry, that's something else. Never mind.
Nope, that's the wrong one.
Wrong one. Okay, moving on. I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson. T stand for the. And remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off. Almost lost you there too.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks for listening to the Indu podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Indube network. Want more Indube? Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Indube and on Facebook at IndubePod. You can contact us and send Ask Indube questions by emailing indubepod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the T Public Store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Indube network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit Indube.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.